What's cracking? What's rolling, YouTube? It's your Loke Phantom Loke, aka Silk the Lokester, and this is keeping it 3100.
I see you folks clicking up, looking like you tough, acting like you banging now, nigga. Walk around with that flag out your pocket until the real come and ask what you claiming now, nigga. 1, 2, 3, oh shots from a loose cannon and it's blazing through your torso, nigga. 1, 2, 3, oh shots from a loose cannon and it's blazing through your doors now, nigga.
Yeah, nigga, that Loke is back. Come to your section, them shells rat-a-tat-tat. Cause what you banging, what you claim, you know what's up. If a person know, got that dagger exposing your fucking guts. Yeah, that blue been in me. Free my big cousin, cuz like me. Our gang's different, but we both bleed blue. Heart pump no Kool-Aid, them shots come through. I stay true blue, been true to that blue. Been true to the cause, so what about you?
For all you first timers tuning into the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. For everybody else, before we get right into it, I'm about to try something new with the channel. I mean, there's a lot of different things I'm going to try eventually once I start mastering. Like, I'm still new to this podcast stuff, so I'm still learning as I go. But there's a couple different things and features and all that stuff that I'm gonna start playing around with and all that. But the first thing I'm gonna try is every week or whenever I get a chance or whatever, it's like one day I'm gonna do a story, another day I'm gonna do an event, like touch on an event like what's going on in within the culture, like say no jumper topic or a clubhouse segment or this, that, and third. And then another day I'm gonna touch on a personal story or whatever. That's one idea. And then eventually, you know, once I figure out this equipment and software and all this other stuff, I'm gonna start doing like Spider Loke and, you know, shit like that. But anyway, today's topic: why 30s? Why did I decide to go roll with the 30s instead of other sets specifically or anything like that? Basically, why did I choose to go roll with the 30s? So let's get right into it. How and why. But anyway, before we get into how, let's start from this point. So I already knew in my heart and all that I was meant to be this. I was claiming it, you know. There was a thing going on where you call it independently Crippin' or Blood, and it's basically like when you say you're a Crip or Blood, but you're not under any set or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Now, that's actually a thing. Out of town shit. But it's like this. You can only carry that for so long because once you get a certain age, it's like time for you to like throw it away because it's just not meant for you and all that, you know? But anyway, I was basically Crippin' on like just independently and all that, you know what I'm saying? Just say I was a Crip and all, but I wasn't under any set. What really to me, now people have their own definitions of false flagging, especially back in the day and all that stuff, but really the way I see it is like this. False flagging is saying, okay, you're basically saying you're part of a specific gang, like say Rolling 60s, Rolling 30s, Five Deuce Hoover, A-Tray Gangsta, and then niggas make that call and your name does not come up on the roster and all that. You're false claiming. Or they ask you certain questions about the hood and all that, and you can't even answer them correctly and all that, or you can't answer them at all. False claiming. So anyway, I was basically Crippin' independently and all that. Now, this was before I even knew about different sets, cards, you know, saying different types of Crips and all this other stuff, right? So once I started learning about that, that's when I started having a little identity crisis, as you would say. Not so as to where, oh, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and third, but it's like I didn't know if I want to go on the gangster path, the rolling path, the neighborhood path, the mafia path, etc., etc. Now, once it got to that point, I started, process of elimination and pet peeves. One personal pet peeve I have is this. Depending on what side you're from, like wherever you're from, like in the city or town, like if you're from the west side of wherever you're from and all that, you get down with the west side set. If you're from the east side of whatever you're from, so you get down with the east side set, and so on and so forth. That's just a personal pet peeve of mine, but anyway. So I did that process of elimination and all that, And at the time, like I said, it was difficult to come across a Crip set, let alone a legit Crip set and all that, because there was a lot of other shit that was going on at the time in different politics, But anyway, so for a while, it just seemed like, damn. So I just focused on me for a bit and all that. And then, you know how they usually say, what's for you will come to you and all that? Well, that's basically how it happened. But there's also another saying that says, sometimes you gotta experience the fake before you're introduced to the real. Sometimes you gotta go through the fake shit before you experience and see and have the real shit. So, how that happened? Well, let's start with this. The story was, it all started from a tag. One night, I was just rolling with some dudes that, I'm not going to say much about them and all that, but they just, I thought they were my friends, but the whole time, two different walks of life and all that, and we just don't see eye to eye, and that just wasn't my tribe. That they, you know what I'm saying? I was nothing like them. So anyway, we parked at the 7-Eleven and all that, and as we were just walking in, this, that, and third and all, I came across a wall and a truck, a little mini truck, like a U-Haul, whatever. And on the truck and on that wall, it said R30'S. And I'm saying in my head, oh, they're here? And crazy thing is, the area where the tag was, that area actually used to be claimed by Elm Street Paru. But when they vanished and all that, I guess they took over. And it was right around the corner, like I'd say 3 blocks away from where I live, like the house I was living in at the time. So that was a sign right there. That was the scent. So I'm trying to figure out, who are they? Where they at? So one day, I should say one evening, I was talking to a Faux Trey Gangsta and a 6 Deuce Diamond. And they was basically telling me the sets that got clearance and was approved by LA to, to roam in the DMV area and all that. And one of those sets was the Rolling 30s. So I was like, 30s? It's funny that you mentioned 30s. There's actually a tag and all that around where I live and on there. Like, well, where you live? I told them where I live, And crazy thing is, that area was actually known to be 30s territory, actually. So I was like, well, do you know who they are? Like by face, name? So I get in touch with them, this and that, third. They're like, and then Forte was like, I know exactly who they are. Let me make that call. Made that call. Bing, bop, boom. Spoke to one of them. We linked up, got to know each other and all, this, that, and third. Began the process. And once I saw the 30s suiting my crippin', my ways, and vice versa. And sure enough, I was definitely 30 material and all that. And because one thing about the Harlems, and you hear this line in many songs, not to discredit from any other set, but you hear this about the Harlems definitely. Nobody has ever met a Harlem that ain't got no heart. And you know, if you got that, you ain't got to say it. You just show it. So I told him, I want this to be my set. I want this to be my home. I want this to be my gang. I want this, you know what I'm saying, to be my family. I want to roll with the Harlems. Set it up. You know what I'm saying? Got my put on. And from that day on, it wasn't just blue no more. It was blue and brown. So, once then, I was like, let me guess, we pushed 39th Street because when it comes to the Harlems, you mostly hear about 39th Street and all that, but they was like, nah, we pushed the avenues. I was happy as shit because I've always said if I was to push a Rolling Hood or whatever, I want to push an Avenue section. I always want to push an Avenues line. And sure enough, that wish came true. You know what I'm saying? So from that moment on, it was original Harlem Avenue Capital 30s. To the casket drop. For life. And it's been that way ever since, and that's the way it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the homies back in the DMV and to the land, LA, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my G homies. You know what I'm saying? For getting that shit, getting that stamped, you know what I'm saying? Doing what y'all gotta do and all that, doing what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Rich rolling from the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Just banging my turf. Salute to y'all, man. Thumbs up to my days up. 3 fingers. Avenues up. Avenues or no news. And that's how I got with the 30s. Now, why did I want to go with the 30s? Well, learning about the 30s and all that, and, you know, like I said, their ways and all that, it matched and suited me. Because I'm sure you heard in plenty of my other videos and all that throughout my life, I never really had problems with any other Crips. Personally. My issues were always with Bloods. In fact, it was a gang of them called Vampires and all that stuff, which is how I started Crippin' in the first place, because they was messing with my dad. They was messing with my civilian pops. Acting iffy and all that, and then all of a sudden just disrespecting him and all that. Me is one thing, but now when you just my family and all that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all showed y'all colors, I showed mine. And I told y'all the story about that day I walked in that school building in middle school, and I had that blue flag hanging out. I mean, hey, they showed their colors, I showed mine, so I mean, shit. And this was during a time when Bloods was just the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell who was really that in their heart and all that stuff. You could tell who was just doing it for the fad. And the reason why is because Lil Wayne just dropped his Carter 3 album. But I was claiming Crip in a sea full of Bloods. Yeah, I got odd looks, and I got, question like, what are you even doing here? And we don't do that here. The typical DMV shit. We don't do that here. Yeah, okay. Think I'm the only one? Anyway. And if you know what Harlem's are known for and who their main enemies are and all that, that's why that's the set for me. That's why I went with the Harlems. That's why, you know what I'm saying? That's why I didn't follow my cousin's path. Shout out to my cousins and all that, you know what I'm saying? But their path was already, made for them, established, you know what I'm saying? When you're from Houston, Texas and all that, what's the main thing to be in Houston, Texas? Five Deuce Hoover against Crip. That's them. Me? I'm rolling 30 original Harlem Crip. Anyway, that's what it is. But yeah, that's just a little quick story of, you know what I'm saying, how and why I roll with 30s and all. And being from 30s, it's a real huge honor. Knowing about the reputation and all that, it's a huge honor. Salute to all the homies. Salute to all the Harlems. Rest in peace, HIP, to the ones that's no longer here. We're going to keep it rolling. Keep y'all names alive and all that, you know what I'm saying? Keep it crippin'. Dirt gang crippin'. Now I'm about to go eat this post-gym meal and all that, you know what I'm saying? Keep your thumbs up, C's high. You know what I'm saying? Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your flag. Stay true to your beliefs and all that. To your cause. Anything. You know what I'm saying? Just stay true to it. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.
You don't know now what's that I claim? I claim 3-0. You ask what I bang? I bang 3-0 with the A in the middle. Avenues, cuz, but I ain't with the riddles. Keeps the 3100, but people not like me. I see the weird shit going on repeatedly. But I'm a go-getter, I goes and gets. Never a lazy ass nigga ambitious with my bets. Cross the line, pay the debt. Even with your life, pay the debt. Gotta pay the toll, that's how life rolls. I seen too many plays solid, but they always fold. Had a beating heart, froze that shit cold. Don't give a fuck, I'm in that fucking mode. Seen one side, but now it's the other side. One slick mouth, that life of yours, bye bye.